Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sarah Martin with The Contoured Chemist. Today we're talking eyeshadows. So I've been requested more, I hate it when people say eyeshadow for dummies. We're not dumb. Eyeshadow is something that comes easily for some people, harder for others. I will tell you, I've always had an obsession with eyeshadow, but I can tell you, the more you do it, the easier it gets. Today we're gonna talk paint by numbers eyeshadow looks, kind of a little bit about placement and how to choose colors for certain areas of your lid and some looks you can do and all that fun stuff. So if you wanna keep watching, be sure to check it out and like and hit the bell and subscribe and all the things. And I appreciate you guys being here. All right, guys, let's jump into it. I haven't tested this yet. What is going on with this hair? I think I missed one. Okay, let's just hide that. Let's hide that. And I haven't tested this yet, but I needed a way I could mark up my eyes so you guys could visually see it. I have nothing on my lid, okay? I do have my face done, but we're gonna attempt this. Okay. So I wanted to show you guys an easy way you can build an eyeshadow look. I feel like eyeshadow can be really difficult for some people and it looks overcomplicated, but I'm telling you, there are some simple, straightforward looks and ways you can the possibilities are endless if you just choose different colors. So I'm gonna break it down by what colors within Maskcara Beauty is in each category, and then some looks you can try on yourself, just picking the shades you want, that you love, and how to build your own compact palette, eye look, all the things with some really simple, straightforward placement, okay? It's all about placement. So I'm gonna break out this is waterproof. I'm hoping it will wipe off when I'm done. Okay, so let's talk eyeshadow placement. I'm gonna be sharing a couple different looks. I'm gonna be sharing a few different looks, basic eyeshadow techniques, okay? And I'm gonna show you where we put each one on the lid. Because I feel like people are intimidated when they see a full eye look. Even if the numbers are there, they might be like, well, where does that go? So I'm gonna show you guys. So depending on your eye shape, it can vary, obviously, but on my eyes, on my aging eyelids, I'm gonna show you guys where I would place each color. And it is simple as 5 shades. I'll show you guys some looks with 5 shades, but all the looks are going to vary from 1 to 2 to 3 eyeshadow colors, depending on what you want to do. But you got to know the basic anatomy of placement before we can talk about these different looks. So, okay, you guys hear me talk all the time about the highlight shade, okay? It's very simple. Highlight shade can vary, but for the most part, I'm going to put it, let's see if this right there, okay? On my inner tear duct, okay? That is going to brighten the eyes. It makes your eyes appear bigger. It makes you look awake. And I feel like my eyes just don't look complete now when I don't add that pop of that shimmer. So even if you have more mature eyes and you're like, I am not wearing shimmers, it looks hideous on me, you can still rock that, okay? Nobody has wrinkles or fine lines there. And you can still add that pop of light to the inside corner of your eye. Okay, so the same shade that I always place there, I put, which I still have some on, I put it under the brow. Now, if you have mature eyes like me, you do want to be a little bit more careful with under the brow. You see some YouTubers apply it all the way from under here and all the way, and it goes really low, and that light will reflect and actually age your eyelids. If If you're like me, you have texture right there. We don't want to reflect light. So shimmery shades reflect that. You can keep it matte, but you want to keep it like high and tight along your eyebrows. So what I like to do is go to the uppermost point of my brow, and that is where I like to place that color. So if you want to make it a little bit, let's see if I can actually do this. Okay, so right up along the brow from about mid to end. Now, sometimes I even only put it right there, but hopefully that doesn't. Let's see if I can have you see it. Okay, so highlight under the brow. Now, sometimes I'll even pull this highlight shade into the inner third of my lid. You don't necessarily want it to do the whole lid if it's a bright, really light shade. If you have more mature skin like I do, it's gonna really emphasize the look of your texture. So let's break up our eyelid into quadrants. I think we can all agree where our natural lid is, okay? When you blink, where you, oh my gosh, that looks hideous. See how much texture I have, you guys? Okay, when you blink. Okay, this is, I think my pen is drying out. Where your natural lid space is, okay? Natural lid space being where your actual lid is. I mean, it is so hard. Okay, you guys get the point, right? No matter how messy it is. That is my natural lid. Now, when I open my eyes, you can't see it. Okay, so that is my natural crease. Okay, crease, lid. Lid is where you're actually touching your eyeball, okay, when you actually touch that space. Okay, I like to think of the lid as like 3 quadrants, okay? You have your inner third, you have the mid lid, which is like if you're gonna touch like the uppermost part of your eyeball, and then that outer corner, that outer third that we like to keep dark. So pretty much just separate it. Oh my gosh. Leave it to today, the day that my eyeliner starts to run out. I've had this forever. That, or I don't know, but you guys get the point. Okay, inner third, middle, outer third. Okay, and if you can tell where the outer corner is. So let me draw that on real quick. So I've shared this a million times to kind of find out where your eyeshadow starts and stops. Go with something straight. Go to the nostril and the corner. Let's see if I can draw this at the same time. Corner of your eye, okay, to the tip of your brow. Okay, and that right there. Seriously, eyeliner pen, just right. That right there is where your eyeshadow should stop, okay? If you get too far down here, it just looks messy. So if you keep it within that realm, I think I went a little bit low because my pen wouldn't write, but you guys get the point, okay? Keep it along this imaginary line. Yeah, that's totally low. Let's see if this is gonna come off. Oh yeah, perfect, okay? Clean that up, there you go. There's your imaginary line. So that last corner, that's what we talk about is the outside corner. Okay, so when I talk about my crease, sometimes I'm not, sometimes I'm not super specific. So my natural crease is, you can't see it because my eyes are hooded. That means I have this skin here that will come down and like not show my natural lid when my eyes are open. It's extremely natural, normal, very common, nothing to be ashamed of. A lot of celebrities have hooded eyes and they are beautiful. I feel like sometimes they get like a bad name because people are like, oh, my eyes are hooded. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that when you put lid color on your lid and nowhere else, you won't be able to see any kind of definition to your eyes because it gets lost once your eyes are open. Yes, you can see it when when you're looking down or when your eyes are closing. But for the most part, we want to try to frame out our eyes to make them, you know, to enhance the shape, okay? We're always using eyeshadow as a form of contour, just like our face, and kind of contouring out that shape and making them look big and beautiful. So when I add a crease color, I go above the crease. So I'm always saying, open your eyes and go above. So this is my natural crease. When I am gonna go in with eyeshadow, I'm gonna go, see if I can make a dotted line. Nope, it's not gonna draw. I go up here, okay? And I like to go all the way out to this outer corner, okay? Not super close to my brow, okay? I want a little bit of light there, and lift. You don't wanna go too far out straight and touch the end of that brow. But then I like to kind of fade it in as it goes down like this. Because if you get a lot of dark in this area, it will close your eyes off. So it depends on your eye shape, but my eyes, I like to create more of an enlargement, an almond shape. And so this is the way I apply mine to kind of lift and make my eyes appear larger. Okay, so when I talk about the crease shade, that mid-tone matte that we add, I'm not applying it in my crease. So this is up and over my crease. And if I was to darken in my crease, I'd be darkening right here, okay? Which we can do as well to create more depth and dimension. Okay, and last but not least, outer corner. So we kind of already have it marked off, but a lot of times what I do is I'll add that deepest, darkest shade and I'll really increase the look of my outer corner. So I pretty much go along this line and then I go into that crease. Oh my gosh, come on, pen. Let's try this one. Okay, so outer corner here into the natural crease in that triangle V. Okay, that's what's going to create depth. You can already tell it created depth on this side, and that's what's going to make your eyes appear larger this way. Now, if you have big round eyes, you can totally rock darker shades on the lid. This is gonna be more for, most common is smaller eyes, opening eyes, brightening, almond shape, and aging eyes, okay? So this is kind of some placements, and then you can pick the colors depending on your eye shape, and it will vary for your look, right? So one more placement. I think we can all agree we know where the lower lash line is, right? So lower lash line. You see why I don't wear a harsh eyeliner? Okay, lower lash line, and obviously upper lash line. I don't think I need to draw that on. Liner can make the biggest difference in your eyeshadow look. And I'll get into more of those specifics as we get there. So I'm gonna attempt to remove this so we can start talking about our first look. Okay, might have been a messy example, but hopefully it demonstrated what I was talking about. And thanks to waterproof wipes, it came off. Yay. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to prime and prep my eyes. I get asked this all the time. If you are having any issues with creasing or your eyeshadow is not lasting through the day, you have to use an eyeshadow primer. It is a game changer. I know it might sound like one extra step, but for me, it's the only way I have, like, my eyeshadows can outlast my face, and we all know how long that lasts. So I'm gonna use the smallest amount. I like this one, okay? Tiny amount, just enough to do a thin layer across my entire eyelid, okay? You can use a brush, however you like. I'll link this one below. It's an Amazon find, and I have been using this one tube forever. It's so good. Okay, now for me personally, can you tell? I've got a whole lot of purple in my eyelids. So I have to start with an eyeshadow primer before I can ever use a cream on my eyes. So I'm gonna pick up my Buffy. I'm gonna pick up my color corrector, And then I'm gonna pick up my main shade and I'm all evened out. Takes me 2 seconds and it gives me the most true to color. I don't feel like I have like white around my eyes or anything. I took off some of my under eye corrector doing that look earlier with my eyeliner. Okay, now I can't stop there, or for one, my eyeshadows will go on patchy because this is sticky, it's a cream. This again is sticky. I always recommend going in with a setting powder, okay? For your eyes, you can be generous with it. This is our vanilla dust. I put that on generously so that I get a nice blend. Now it is setting that cream in place, so it's not gonna crease or give me longevity issues, anything like that. Now for aging eyelids, like I have to set it or it's never gonna work for me. So if you have that issue, try those steps and that might help. All right, are we ready to talk eyeshadow? So I'm gonna try to keep this simple as possible, okay? I will show the brushes along the way. And we're gonna start off by just simply adding colors and doing a few looks, okay? So I find that mascara can be a little bit overwhelming. I hear this often because of the color choices. We have a lot of eyeshadows. I think I counted once and there's like 70 or something. So fret not, I'm going to insert a picture where I categorize each one with a number that corresponds to what I'm talking about today. Okay, because I will be honest, a lot of these look different on the website. They look different when swatched. Some of them are shimmerier, is that a word, than others. So I feel like some people are, you know, if you have more mature eyes and you don't like a shimmer, some of these that are really super shimmery, I totally get that. But then there's others that are very subtle shimmers that I definitely think you'd be able to wear. So even if you are usually a fully matte girl, so I'm going to kind of categorize them with my 5 categories, which will be a highlight shade is number 1, 2 will be a light shimmer or matte, 3 is a medium shimmer, 4 is a mid-tone matte, and then 5 is a deep dark shade. So those are my categories that I use when I'm putting together any kind of eyeshadow look, and these are the ones that I'm going to be using for my paint by numbers. So let's start off really simple. So if you haven't heard of some of the mascara simple eyeshadow diagrams, I'm not doing all these. I've done these before on my channel if you want to check them out, but these are basic techniques and basic eyeshadow looks, and some of these is what I'm going to be talking about today. So first off is if you want simple, I'm talking simple, okay? 2 colors, okay? And this doesn't take any kind of previous eyeshadow experience. So the first thing I'm gonna do, what do you think? This I add to every eye look, and I feel like even if you're not wearing eyeshadow, you can do this just using your cream illuminator, okay? So I'm gonna go with my ride or die, which is Sabrina, and this is number 1, a highlight shade, okay? For any eye look, remember, inner corner, underbrow, and then blend. That's it, okay? Now, you wanna step it up a notch. Say you want to add just a nice wash of color all over the lid. For this one, you can pick a number 2 color. So a light shimmer or matte. You don't want something so dark. You want to kind of keep this on the side, not quite so medium, or use a medium shade and just use it very lightly. So I'm gonna show you, let's do On Wednesday. It's one that is technically a shimmer, but I consider this more of like a satin shimmer where it's not super shiny. It's just gives a little bit of glow, okay? And I'm just gonna take the eyeshadow everything brush and I'm just gonna windshield wiper it all over the lid and go slightly above my crease, okay? Just so I can see the color. Okay, so all over the lid, entire lid space, and then slightly above, okay? Really super simple, everyday eye look, you're done. 2 colors. What do you guys think I'm gonna pick? One more step is mid-tone matte, okay? This is going to be a number 4 shade. So you guys hear me talk about mid-tone mattes all the time. Everyone needs a mid-tone matte in their collection because every eye look can really be pulled together by carving out your crease, deepening it, and bringing that color up over your hood if you have one to really give definition to the eye. Okay, so I'm gonna go with Bubba. It's my ride or die warm matte brown, okay? And I'm just going to add this to the crease and pull it upwards, okay? You can do it all the way down to the outer corner. And like I said, I'm kind of just windshield wipering it on and letting it blur inward so I have a nice blend. With any eyeshadow, start less is more, tap in, tap off excess, and slowly build that color up. Okay, there you go. Now, you guys know me, I like to halo with almost all of my looks. This is optional, but for me, I feel like it actually takes off some years under my eyes, okay? Just adding subtle definition. I flip over my brush and I just add that right there. And then I blend with the big brush. And can you tell how much, I don't know, I feel like I look younger. Something about, if your under eyes are a problem, try haloing. You might really love it. So we technically have 3 shades on, but doesn't look complicated, doesn't look like a lot. A way to step it up a notch. So say you went in and just highlighted and carved out your crease with that mid-tone matte, but you don't have anything on the lid. Like you didn't do the wash as your first step. It's completely optional. You can, instead of doing a really light shimmer or matte on the lid, like that wash, you can then go to a more medium shimmer and just press it on the lid. You can do this after you've already carved out your crease, which is a lot of times what I do anyway. Depending on how much shimmer you want, might depend on the color or the brush you choose. So if you want really just a wash, I tend to pick up this eyeshadow everything brush and just kind of press it on using the side of the brush. If you want like shimmer and color payoff and for it to really pop, use the multitasker and use this flat end to press on the color. Or I really like the flatter end of the blend and tap brush, again, to press on that color to give the most pigmentation and really show that shimmer. So I'm gonna go ahead and just, let's see, I'm gonna grab the blend and tap brush and let's choose a more of a mid-tone shimmer shade. Oh, and one last way is just using your finger. Your finger will put down the product similar to the multitasker, the most pigmented way. So you know what? Let's just show you that. I'm gonna go with Bend and Snap. It's a very popular mid-tone shimmer. I feel like even though it's purple in the tin, a lot of people can wear this. Okay, I'm just gonna grab it and go straight to my lid. There you go. Easy peasy. You suddenly have that pop of color on your lid. the little bit of shimmer that will catch the light. And there you go. You've done, that is another one that can be either 3 or 4, because technically you just covered up that very first shade, that number 2, so you can't see it. Okay, so we have that color down. Another way is to go back to that light shimmer shade. I'd pick one that was more of a pop color and just place it in that middle quadrant of the eye. So right where, actually, you know what is a good example? This is a great place where you can use a powder illuminator, which double as eyeshadows as far as I'm concerned. So one of my favorites to use is Photoshop or Georgia, and just take a little bit on the eye and go right to the center. Okay, right to that middle quadrant. Okay, and then you want to take your brush and kind of blend. So if you like that center brightness, that is a really great technique that doesn't take very much extra time. You are just brightening the center of your lid. You're keeping the 1 and the 3rd part of those, of that, why am I saying quadrant? What's a trip when it's only 3? Trip triant? No, that is not a word. I don't know, what is it called? Because they're gonna have to help me with that one. Not quadrant, there's not 4, there's 3. But you guys get what I'm saying, that middle section of your eye, okay? And then you'll keep those 2 darker, that number 3 color, and this is back to that number 2. You can also use your highlight shade in this way, as long as you have something shimmery and bright. One of my favorites to use in that way is Stardust, which is a nice neutral. It can tone anything down. And there you go. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep adding to this look with the techniques so that you guys see them. And I will show you the pictures of all of these separately. Okay, so now let's add to it and go to that number 5 shade, that deep dark shade. I like to flip back to this side and go to some of my favorite just neutrals. Doesn't have to be neutral. You can totally do a pop of color here. But my favorite is to use either the small end of the everything brush to place the color, or my favorite is this dome end of the blend and tap brush. Let's go into Coco. Okay, Coco is a nice warm brown. I'm just gonna tap in, and then we're going to that outer V. So you can either concentrate the color on that last part of that eyelid. Okay, we're gonna start right there of your lid space. Okay, and then we're just gonna simply start tapping into that crease, naturally where your crease is. And I'm just tapping, you guys, I'm barely moving my brush, but I'm darkening that outer third of my eye. Can you see that? It takes barely any movement with this brush. I'm just tapping in that little V, okay? And then I'm gonna flip my brush over. I think I just used this. Get off excess. I'm gonna use that side to just kind of blend that outer corner, make sure it's not harsh, okay? I know that the outer corner can be the most intimidating for some people, but you guys, it's super simple. And then just take a little bit. I like to just kind of barely go on that outside corner to kind of connect with the lower lash line. Easy peasy. Doesn't have to be a bunch of colors. You can simply just pick highlight shade to highlight, a lid shade, crease shade, and then on special occasions or date night, add that outer corner, and you're golden. The number of combinations you can do just with those 4 shades, the number of colors, possibilities are endless if you can just master that one technique. Okay, we're gonna add to this one more time, and that is to just brighten that inner third I keep saying quadrant. I mean, I can't stop, seriously. So this time I'm gonna go back to my highlight shade, the very lightest shade. This is Sabrina. I'm gonna go in with my multitasker, and I'm simply gonna just pull that shade onto that inner third of my lid. Okay, and this one you can bring upwards. You can pretty much just, you want to keep that inside corner, all of it, light and bright. Okay, you can do this with a shimmer on the lid, without one, with just a matte, just as far in as you're comfortable with. If you have a lot of texture, you know, you can just bring it in just a little bit and not have it be quite so bold, but it's going to brighten that inside corner, which I feel like this is one of the best methods to open your eyes and make them appear larger. Something tickling my neck. Okay, so now that we've done this, I feel like this is pretty much almost like very similar to another technique, which was what we call the ombre, which is when you're simply going from the inside corner to the outside corner and you're choosing colors that complement each other, going from lightest to darkest. So ones that I consider maybe like in the same color family. So anything from, let me show you some swatches. Anything, if you're gonna go, let's say blondie, super gold, what is this, bright eyes for the lid. Then you could go into something more warm like Leo, and then something red. Okay, this is one of my favorite looks to do, which is like a sunset. Okay, and you simply do the same thing we just did, but you go from inside corner to outside corner. So you would use this to brighten, bring on the lid. You'd keep this on your lid. You can put this in your crease and this on the outer corner. Or you can go through each quadrant. Okay, this one would be a quadrant. You would have just, you'd go shift from one color to the next and you divide your lid into fourths. Okay, you could then put something maybe not quite so bright if you're scared of that. Maybe something like Bubba in your crease, up and over, to kind of blend those together so that there's no harsh lines in that area, and just do these on the lid. Okay, so the ombre is a really great technique because you can do so many really cool looks. And you can do them in different directions. So let's do, I feel like I'm always doing the sunset. Let's do a different one, and we're gonna do it on this eye, but instead of going from light to dark in this direction, we're gonna do it this direction, but we're gonna go dark to light. So when you're doing it on the eye, we don't want to have our darkest color up here by our eyebrow. So we're going to go, this is gonna be more of a dramatic kind of look, and we're gonna keep the lash line dark where we would add the liner. So this one might be a little bit more dramatic because we're gonna go with some darker shades of something very different, not the sunset. So I've got Coal for my liner, then Gilded, which is another dark one, Lullaby, and then good old basic. I said basic, Bubba. I can't find my basic, so that's why we're doing Bubba. Okay, so the order of this one, I feel like sometimes is easier when you go from the top to bottom. If you have trouble applying your eyeshadows, try applying lightest to darkest. You'll get an easier blend than going straight in with the darkest shade. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with Bubba. And I'm just gonna go right into my crease and then bring it above. Now for this technique, I need to go a little bit farther up than maybe I normally do. Now I'm not gonna go so close that I'm taking away all of my space under my brow. But I want to be able to have room to add all of these shades here. Okay, so that's gonna be nice and warm. I picked that to add a little bit of warmth since the rest of my shades are more cool. Okay. Okay, so we got Bubba, and then we're gonna go into slightly darker. This is Lullaby. This one's going to be in my crease, okay? I'm not going up as high. I'm gonna keep this one slightly lower. Okay, and more in the actual crease of my eye. Can you see that? If I was to open my eye, you can't see that color as much. Okay, now either of these you can pull underneath your eye. In fact, when I do this kind of look, I normally like to still include both. So I'll do Bubba along my entire lash line and then Lullaby on like half. Okay, now we're gonna go in with Gilded on the lid. I'm gonna go back to the blend and tap brush. And I'm gonna press this just on the lid. Okay, now this is very similar in tone to Lullaby, which is why you can't see a big definition. It just gets darkest to lightest. And then very last, Kohl. And I like to use this small end of the eyeshadow everything and simply pull along the lower lash line to darken. Now, I like this to be a little bit more smudged and lived in than a definitive line. Okay, and you can blend as much or as little as you want. Okay, so this is the ombre from darkest to light. Now, I like to add a little bit more definition to my lash line. So when it comes to eyeliners, I feel like it is totally personal preference. A lot of times I do eye looks and I have no eyeliner on, and as long as I define my lash line with either shadow on the upper or bottom, keeping it lighter, I'm totally okay with that. When it comes to more dramatic looks like this one, I feel like your lashes get lost. And to actually define that lash line will actually bring more attention, and your eye look will pop even more. So personal preference, whether you like pencil, liquid, this one probably isn't even gonna work after I use the whole thing on my drawing. Let's see, I think I messed up the tip of it too. Yep, think that one's a goner. So let's go in with Black Friday. So Black Friday is our cream eyeliner, and we can use our angled brush and just simply bring, I don't even like to call it a line, I like to call it depth. You're adding just a little bit more depth to that lash line. Now, if you don't have fake eyelash extensions like me, lining the upper waterline works really well. I can't do that with Lashify because that's where they're actually attached. But that is a great way that you don't lose any lid space and you can define your lash line. Another great brush to keep it nice and close to the lash line would be the multitasker. So just gonna bring a little bit of that darker shade, the outside corner, and there you go. There is a ombre from light to dark. And then, what do you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go back and grab a highlight because, again, I wanna lift that brow even more. If you like, you wanna keep it matte, use something like Cupcake, and you can still lighten that area. okay? Even if it's not shimmery, it will add light to that. So some other ways you can change up your look: slight wing, tight line, the lower lash line for instant drama. Again, liquid liner or smudged, depending on the liner you choose, can really change every single one of these eye looks to make it more dramatic, especially if you like to wear something more natural during the day with no liner, and then you want to simply just add a little bit of darkness along the lash line at night, and add mascara. Mascara always adds drama to the lower lash line or the upper, and you'll be good to go. So one last quick tip: if you are like me and a little bit messy with your eyeshadows sometimes, do your face last so you don't have to, especially if you are doing a dark eye look like this. The more you tap off excess of your brush, the more you will minimize fallout, of course, but that way you don't have to clean up anything. And it's really great to be able to just kind of take your brush and sweep it after you do your eye looks to clean it up. Creams are amazing. There's much less cleanup because you can totally just clean it up and you're golden. Last but not least, okay, obviously I feel like this is more dramatic already. If you like to rock a smoky eye, okay, you can literally take either of these and turn it into a smoky eye. All you have to do is take a darker shade, okay, add more to that outer corner and blend it up. Add along the lower lash line and you're straight up at smoky. For this eye, I would just add some in the outer corner since it's mostly along my lash line. You can just simply add it to your lash line, outer corners, a little bit on that lower lash line, and suddenly you will be completely smoked out without using too much, closing off your eyes, or making it too dark. The key with eyeshadow is just simply building. So on this side, we slowly built up color, did different places, and kind of created our own eye look. Same thing, just knowing where to place each color is the first step. Knowing which shades are best for which area of the eye is the second step. So be sure to keep watching for some eyeshadow diagrams to help you create your look, and also how to categorize all of Maskcara's eyeshadows. So I hope it helps. Please let me know if you have any questions at all, and thanks for watching.